Recording in progress. I can't help saying that every time. Shalom. How are you all? Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Some of you may be watching this at another time of the day. So welcome to all of you here now. I love seeing the doggy with you. That's so gorgeous. Oh, I want to meet that dog. Oh, both of them. Pets are welcome to class. Please invite them into your room if you have them. Oh, no, not Jack. Don't invite Jack. I think that could be a wild ride for you, Marika. Anyway, I digress. Here we are. I don't know. I'm a little excited. This is the end of our series on passion, purpose, and peace. Can you believe we've already done 6 weeks? And that's just such an incredible idea. So here we are in our sixth week of the entire theme, but second week of peace. So I don't know if last week you managed to have a little think about how you set your day and week up to cultivate peace in your life, any actions that you do or people that disturb your peace and that sort of thing. This week, I'd like to go a little bit deeper into our personal way of our daily actions and our daily decision makings that can either lead us to more peace or to more disharmony. So when you think about it, actually, the decisions that we make really do make actually our day or our week peaceful or not so peaceful. So the decisions we make, the actions we take can make our inner self feel at peace with what we've done, or can aggravate things like going over conversations and stuff, or it may aggravate people in your life. Maybe you're causing disharmony or peace for others around you, for your work or home environments. So there's a lot of things when you think about our words and our actions. These are the foundation things that may cause us peace or disruption to our peace in our day and in our week, in our mind and in our lives and relationships. So this week, I encourage you to have a little think, particularly looking at your thinking process, because before action, before words, usually there's a thought. Sometimes it's a really small moment between our thinking and our action, or our thinking and our saying, our speaking. But if you can have a look at the background noise of our thinking, and if that thinking is supporting you in your goal for peace, and I recommend that we are all aiming for peace in our life, because life is not very peaceful at the moment. And it's very important for us that can to keep a sense of peace, the vibration and the quality of our being to be as peaceful as possible, not just for our own health, our own physical health, our immune system and our mental health, but also for the health of others around us, and for, would you believe it, the very planet itself. We are so interconnected. It's not a bullshit thing. This oneness idea, it's a truth. We are all connected, and all thoughts, all words, and all actions are actually energy that can hit people. And yes, actions are much more gross energy. Our words are a little bit more subtle energy, perhaps, but can be incredibly powerful. And our thoughts are very subtle, but are still a vibration. So if you're gossiping and bitching about people, you're holding them in a pattern. In a way, you really are. So we try to limit, or at least recognize, our negative thinking, our disruptive thinking. What I mean by disruption to our peace. Hey, Robin, nice to see you. Could you just mute yourself so we don't get any interruptions through class? Thank you. Yeah, so it is an important thing, and the most fundamental thing that we can do to begin to notice our thinking patterns and then the way that we speak and make decisions and act in our day and our lives is to actually simply witness ourselves. Is a very peaceful practice, and it is the foundation practice of a spiritual life. Is to simply try and watch yourself from a detached and non-judgmental place, which can be hard. Don't judge yourself if you're being a bitch. Try not to judge yourself if you've reacted badly to something or poorly, but just try and keep witnessing, watching yourself and being present to what arises in you. And this is this natural way, rather than going, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or I've really got to change that behavior. I'm not going to do it. It's like a suppression thing, as opposed to watching, being aware, really seeing what you're doing to yourself, to others. And then that in itself, if you continue that practice time and time again, you'll find that something is arising in you, and then suddenly it just flows away. And you're like, oh, I'm not going to react like that. I'm not going to be like that. It's not that you think I'm not going to, it just dissolves before your very witnessing, your own very witnessing eyes. So it's a very big subject, and this is really just about peace, but that little idea, little seed been planted in you for your week to watch yourself, and particularly to watch your thinking, to see what aggravations you may have there. So on to our peaceful practice. Again, we're starting with some restorative practice. So if you don't have the bolster and the blocks and the blankets and the everything, just get what you've got at home and make something. We want our heart to be open, chest to be lifted. And here you could have something to sit on, particularly if you do have the bolster. It's going to be useful so we don't get too much of an arch in our lower back. I've got a couple of cushions that are going to support my legs, because I'm going to bring the soles of my feet together and just let my knees fall out. And then I lay along a pillow, a folded blanket, a rolled towel if you like, if you've got a nice thick towel. You could also roll the towel and lie on that. Or a firm pillow from your bedroom, or a folded quilt if you've got a spare folded quilt, anything like that. It doesn't have to be as high as this, just that I've got all the equipment, so I use all the equipment. I like a little something underneath my head as well, just to pop my head up a little higher than my heart. The arms just come out to the sides. Palms are facing up if they can. You know, you could, I guess, start, if it felt really nice to you, with the hands just over your head being supported by the top of the bolster or any support that you might be using. The truth is that you probably get uncomfortable after a little while. So just take that if you like that experience, for as long as it feels good and nourishing for you and you don't get all the pins and needles. Yeah, that looks good, Kirsten. I'm sure that will work for you. Just find a way of being comfortable. And as you're ready, just, take your time to snuggle in, to wriggle away until you get full comfort. I love this doggy action. This is just crazy. Happy puppy. Oh, he loves your yoga practice. Oh, it's so beautiful. Our animals, they keep us light, right? They keep us in good humor. Hopefully, that's what they're doing. Once you're in, you can just allow the eyes to close and the breath to deepen. Try and slow the breath down significantly and draw it consciously into the depths of your body, deep into the pits of your belly if it's possible. Let everything soften on that deep, slow dive in. And as you exhale, you might like to let it just drift out of the mouth. A slow, low sigh. And as you release the breath out of the body, let the muscles begin to melt. The joints begin to relax. And the bones begin to become heavy. Let the breath just sigh out of the mouth as many times as that feels comfortable and good for you. And then you can just reseal the lips. Keep the breath as slow and deep as is comfortable for you to maintain, which may mean that it lessens its, or it speeds up a little bit and lessens the depth, but maybe you can keep that up. Whole body beginning to relax. And just bring a little bit extra awareness into the features of your face. Really allowing the forehead to soothe out, releasing any worry lines. Any tension through the eyes can begin to soften and release. And see if you can have this experience that the eyeballs really begin to drop back into the sockets, into the nourishing fluid of the sockets there. To rest the eyeballs deeply. They're getting a lot of screen time at the moment. And then feel any of the muscles through the cheeks. Relax, release, drop. And let the jawbone release. As the jawbone releases, perhaps your teeth can begin to sit a little further apart, like the lower jaw dropping a little, but without undoing the seal of the lips. Let there be no tightness or pouting in the lips, but just allowing the corners of the lips to just gently pull back in a natural way. And then simply allowing the tongue to rest back into the throat, resting in the cavity of the mouth. And relaxing into throats. Just allowing a sense of peace to come into the mind. Spread into the throat. Our thinking happens before the words are formed. So if we have peaceful thoughts, then the words that are attached to our thoughts will also be more peaceful. And relaxing into the heart space, into the chest here, nicely exposed, nicely pried open. So take a couple of perhaps deepened breaths as if you breathe directly into the heart center through the sternum. Create space in through the ribs and through the chest. This is where the energetic heart lives, anahata. Perhaps you want to really feel into this space and to feel into the quality of peace found here. Passion, definitely we feel emanating from the heart center. But peace is also found here. All the beautiful qualities often are emanating out from our heart center. So with your breath, you can perhaps imagine that you can fill the heart with peace, with a feeling of peace. And as you exhale, let that peace, that peaceful feeling spread perhaps first to the mind, the throat, and up into the head. Or maybe you just have that already, you want to spread it into and throughout the entirety of your body. As if it can vibrate out, wash out omnidirectionally. Like the ripples in water. When we throw something into it, it ripples out from the center point. And let the peace wash over your being, over your body. And not just your physical body, your energetic body, your emotional body, your mental body. Even your intuitive body. And your spirit. So really, the peace is like now a bubble, a peace bubble surrounding your entire body, probably a feet distance all around you. And you might like to imagine that the edge of this bubble is lit up with a beautiful white, purple, blue, or whatever color comes to you is the perfect color for you. And if this feels really nice for you, really secure and nourishing and protecting for you, I would recommend that you try and remember to do this first thing in the morning, or perhaps you get out of bed. To remember to breathe in peace into the heart and then let it emanate out from the heart throughout your entire body, and not just the physical body, but the subtle layers that surround your body. And then find this protective light that surrounds it. So you can go out to the world in a way that you're sort of protected. And then we can take a deeper breath in again. Perhaps the breath is gone a little more natural. And you might like to just allow the head to drop down to one side and then the other, just in your own timing when you're ready, as it feels right for you. Squeezing those feet in towards each other as you raise the knees back into the center, and then you can just walk your feet a little further away from each other and drop the knees into the center. And then as you're ready, you can bring those hands so they sit alongside your body or alongside the bolster. Press into the floor so you can sit up. And just maybe widen the feet and step them a little further away from your buttocks. We take an inhale, and as we exhale, we simply drop one knee down into the center. Using an inhale to come back up, and the exhalation to drop the other knee into the center. One may feel easier than the other, and that's okay. We'll just repeat it a few times, and I'd like you just to, make this your own little rhythm, your own pace, your own breath. And if you want to hold for a couple of breaths, or you want to flow from left to right, it's entirely up to you. So just going with the body intuition. See, my cat does love yoga as well. Actually, she just loves it when I'm doing something else that I don't want to focus on her, and then it's all about me. Right, JJ? So simply straighten the legs out once you've done that a few times. And we're just going to rotate our ankles out a few times in each direction. And then we come back into some peace. Now we will have to reset up a little bit. Perhaps you want to use the support right here, right now. You could have it just, excuse me, pussy. So you're sitting on that blanket. I don't really find that very comfortable, but some of you might find that helpful for your ankles. I'm going to remove that altogether, but you might like to keep it there. You could also have a blanket, one of your pillows that you might like to sit on. And I'm going to keep the height of this for this next bit. You could even have a little bit extra height if you've got a blanket or another pillow there, and just come to lie down with your cheek to one side. Have the elbows nice and wide so that we can really release any of the tension in the shoulder. You might even like to try and tilt the head a little bit towards one side so the cock and the neck is just really comfortable. And we're just going to stop here for a few rounds of breath. If you have your left ear to the bolster or to your blanket, if you're not using support, then you're not going to be able to hear this. But if you're using the support, then you might be able to lay your ear down and
You might be able to tune into your heart's rhythm, the beating of your own heart. And begin to deepen the breath. Again, just really slowly and consciously taking the breath as deeply into the body as possible. And really beginning to bring it into the back body with a kind and compassionate manner. Letting the exhalations melt away any of our unseen worries. The background of concern that sometimes doesn't always come to the surface. That agitates us without our awareness, without us even knowing. So breathe slow, deep, conscious breaths into your back body with love and compassion, kindness. And you could even do a few breaths out of the mouth if you feel that there's some excess concern or worry or some form of agitation or uncertainty. I mean, we're living in a very uncertain world. And our back body can really represent to us all the things that we can't see, all the things that we don't want to see. And sometimes we can release things without even really knowing what it is we're releasing. Other times we need to know, but sometimes magic can happen. I'm just going to take an inhale as you're ready to lift the head and to change the position. So the opposite cheek comes to the bolster. Make any little changes to your setup that help you be comfortable. And maybe the breathing here can begin to settle if it hasn't already. But the level of awareness is still strong. But we don't want an intensity that can sometimes that intensity can be aggravating, can cause some tension, some aggravation in the body that maybe we're unaware of. So try and think of your awareness in more of a watery way than a fiery way. So intensity tends to be a fire element sort of thing. But water is incredibly powerful as well. So try and find that beautiful ease and flow and roundness to our awareness, a little like taking a beautiful photo in soft focus. Maybe you can still hear the beating of your heart. And perhaps you can just be really grateful for that heart, for that beat. So once again, just keeping the breath a couple of times to prepare the body once again for movement. And as you're ready, you can bring your hands a little closer to the knees, push the hands into the floor and slowly peel yourself off your support. And from there, we're going to come and sit up. So you might not need some of the things that you have there. I'm going to suggest that some of you might like to still use a blanket to sit on, because we are in a seated position. So have a little something, a little bit of height. We're going to straighten those legs out, which will be really nice because we've just sat on our ankles and squashed our knees. The knees can be a little bent, and you could, if you have little cushions, have little cushions under your knees if you find this incredibly challenging to be, but we want to be able to really expand and push into our legs. So please take big yawns. Please take the support that you need. And you might also, if you've got some extra equipment, which I know many of you do, but some of you don't. So I apologize for those that really aren't equipped up. You could put a little something underneath, so we're creating more height, more height, more height. Also with this, it really could be like that, alongside the body, with maybe you might need a little bit of support in the middle. That's another way that you could do this. So it depends on the openness of your backs of your legs, your hamstrings and your hips, whether they can support this forward bend. Try and find the sit bones pressing into the earth, and as you press the sit bones into the blanket beneath you, see if you can begin to roll them back behind you. So we have this, see if I get rid of that, this rolling action. And as you roll the sit bones, it may be necessary for you to bend the knees a little in order that we get this nice lengthening from the lower back, rather than this rounding that actually happens at the lower back, and we feel it more acutely in the thoracic. So we're trying to bring those front hips bones forward, and it's that rolling action, like the cat action, like the up cat action, often called cow, often mistakenly called donkey by me. So see if you've got that, and we want this lengthening up through the spine, and trying to keep some of that length. Can you just lean forward a little bit? Kick into the heels. Kick into the heels. Have really active legs. Really active legs. So you want to imagine that your feet are pressing up against the wall. And as your sit bones grow imaginary roots into the earth beneath you, they're also scooping back, rolling back. So this is this nice lifting of the spine out of the pelvis, and it almost opens our heart and can push us forward. I know that may not be your experience. I get it. You know, I have done yoga for a long time, and I've gone through the kramas, the process. Some of you
I don't know, I don't think any of you there, but some of you watching later, maybe some of you there, maybe have more ability to go forward. So you could have a little bit of, oh yeah, Jen, I forgot about you. You have quite a lot of movement there. So if you have that ability to go a little deeper, you're welcome to, but please just listen to your body. You could always put your hands into prayer with the back of the thumbs pressing into the third eye, in between the eyebrows or just above, in between above. This is Ajna. This is the energy center of our intuition and insight, the way that we can perceive the world and the way that we can see through the veils of the world. So important that we begin to activate this particular chakra, because there's so much deception around us everywhere at the moment. So we really need to awaken this ability to begin to see through the veils. So if that brings you some joy and it brings you some peace, then you can place maybe your back of the thumbs or the fingertips or something into. Some of you might be amazing and can go all the way down. Just rest your forehead onto your hands and just breathe here for a few rounds. It's pretty intense, so we won't be here too long. And once again, we want to come back to this experience of watering down the intensity, controlling the fire with the water. So find a soft roundness to the breath. Trying to find curves on the straight lines. As you breathe, maybe it's useful to think of fluffy white clouds. Breathing like beautiful cumulus. Oh, forgotten the names of my clouds. Damn. Those really nice, big, juicy, fluffy, round clouds, as if your breath is breathing those into and throughout your body, into your legs, so the effort in the legs is lessened, or it has a softness, a gentleness around the effort. And then as you're ready, just really slowly, on an inhale, begin to lengthen back up. And just momentarily we place the right hand onto the floor beside us and use an inhalation to guide the left arm up and over. Take another inhale. As you inhale, pin your left sit bone deep into the earth and feel like from that pinning, you begin to reach into the left fingertips. And maybe some of you can bend the right elbow and really begin to dip towards the floor with that elbow or towards your support. I'm feeling the blanket underneath my elbow, which is quite nice. And just breathe into the side body. And once again, try and release the fiery efforts and find the soft ease, because our passion is more related to fire and our purpose is often more related to fire, and our efforts is related to the element of fire. But it's the element of water that keeps everything in balance, and that element of water is really peace. Now, when I've been to India
and it's not a very peaceful place. But if a city is based on water, like big lakes of water, it's just got such a calmer feel to it. It's just really weird how the water can really create calm. So we want to, the water is of our body to create that calm and peace. Take one more breath there. And as you exhale, just release the arm carefully and slowly down as you come back to the center. And just let the body drink it in. And let this very natural recalibration of the body happen. So we may have felt, oh, my left side, or, you know, so just let that recalibration naturally happen. And then the left hand comes out to the floor, and we use the inhalation to guide that right arm up. No, the pin down, and that right hip, that right sit bone. And then just allow the flowing over, like the water coming out of this fountain. The fountain, the pinhole is from that right hip, which is burrowing into the earth beneath us. And we are flowing out of that foundation, out of that supported, rooted place. And that left elbow bends, maybe coming toward the floor. Oh, yum, yum, yum. Try and find the softness, the wateriness, the flowiness of the posture through the effort required to be here. One more beautiful deep breath. Inhale all the way into those fingertips. And as you exhale, really carefully releasing the arm down and coming back into the center. Hands can just sit on the thighs and just let it wash over you again. Let the body absorb the potential of the posture. The deep healing comes really from the stillness, I believe, after the posture. So when we come to a slow practice like restorative, then we really want to allow the body to drink it in, to assimilate the goodness, the potential of the healing. So we can get rid of, oh, your doggy is loving this yoga practice. I love that. I love your doggy. So sweet, but a bit young and So just finding a comfortable seated position. I really hope to sneak in 2 more things, and yeah, I really want to do both. So let's see, we might go a tad over. We did start a little bit late, so we've got until 7:05 anyway. Just finding the breath as you get yourself comfortable, a nice straight spine, and finding that balance between your effort and ease. Between Surya, which is like your effort, your focus, your concentration, and Sukha, which is the ease. So balancing these aspects and then finding the breath and breathing in as if you can breathe in from the crown. Let the inhalation travel down the spine, the main central channel, to the tail, and back up from the tail to the ground. Repeat it so you do it 3 times. Really, it's like spinal flossing, right? Flossing our spine, flossing what's called the Sushumna, which is the central energetic spiritual channel of our body, found in the core of the spine. And then we're going to work the Nadi and Pingala lines of energy that are on either side of the Sushumna. So I love this practice, but if you prefer the other practice with the forefinger and middle finger and thumb,
Those two fingers come to the third eye, to the forehead, and the thumb is closing the left and right nostrils, either softly on the side, that soft, spongy bit of the nostril, or directly underneath, or simply hand in attention, the tops of the fingers coming to the forehead, and again, the thumb is just like to close directly underneath. If you're having trouble with the even, I've lost my earring again. 2 earrings in one day. It's because, anyway, I won't go there. I'm out. Okay. So if you're having trouble controlling the flow evenly through left and right, then actually this one is a better one, because you can use the flesh to close the more free-flowing one a little bit more. This one is good if they're feeling nice and even. So I hope that's helpful for you. We're going to take an inhale, and as you exhale, close the right nostril and exhale through the left. And then inhale through the left nostril. And change, close the left, and then exhale through the right. Inhale through the right nostril. Close the right and exhale through the left. Inhale through the left nostril. We've just completed one round. Close the left and exhale through the right. Inhale through the right nostril. Close the right and exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. And exhale through the left. So can you repeat that a few more times on your own? Each time you exhale through your left nostril, you've completed a round. So just continue. So next time you exhale through your left nostril, please just make that your last round. It's releasing the hand back into the lap or the legs. And just taking a moment to observe, to notice how you're feeling, and perhaps any subtle changes that the pranayama practice has given us. This practice is called Nadi Shohana, alternate nostril breathing, and it's very good for balancing our masculine, feminine energies, our water and our fire, our left and right hemispheres of the brain. It also is very good for soothing the nervous system, calming the mind, supporting good sleep, and helping us with clarity. So we're going to finish with a final posture, which actually I'm going to suggest could be your Shavasana as well. But if you prefer to come out and do some traditional Shavasana, then you're also welcome to do that. And I'll let you know when's a good time to do that. You can do this in the middle of your room, but if you do have a wall, I'm suggesting that that would be the best way. So I'm going to show you how to set up against the wall. And if you want to join me with that, then you can. And I'm hoping you're going to be able to see. Okay. So you don't have to do it exactly like this, but right, I'm going to go for as much height as I possibly can. I'm going to put my 2 blocks here, not completely against the wall, just a little bit away from the wall, and then my bolster on top. Or you could just do it with the bolster. You really don't need to do it with the blocks underneath. I just fancy it, right? You could actually also have a blanket tucked in right underneath. Again, completely and utterly optional. This can be done without a wall, just with your buttocks or your hips on a bolster, on a folded blanket, or on the end of a couch. Perhaps that may not work actually. Anyway, you're going to come and bring, say, your left hip to the bolster and your bum to the wall. This is going to be the best way to come in. And then you lay your body down along the floor and just whip your legs up. Looks totally simple, but if you've never done it before, it can be a little bit of a challenge. You want your buttocks close to the wall. But if it doesn't make it because of the back of the legs or whatever, it really doesn't matter. You could try wriggling yourself in if you wanted to get flush up against the wall. But again, that does take a little bit of a skill, and if you've never done it before, it can be challenging. So you could just be there. You could be in the middle of the room, just doing it with your legs in the air. I've been so lazy recently. That's how I've been doing it. But I really think this is the bee's knees for cultivating peace of mind. If you're working with a blanket, we try and have the blanket so it's not on the head, just to the shoulders. Oh, well, everybody's managed really well, so that's great. Kirsten, I'm very impressed that you just managed to do that, no problems. Very good. Arms can be in cactus style above the head or just alongside the body, facing down towards the wall, palms facing up, obviously, or in surrender style, rather than cactus, let's call it surrender. I give up. That is the perfect place for me. And it's symbolic, this letting go, this stopping fighting, stopping the fight. When things aren't in flow, it's best sometimes just to simply surrender. So just letting your world be turned upside down. Letting the heart and the brain be nourished. Let the weight and the work of the feet be released. Just let your breath be natural here, force nothing.
Try and keep that forehead smooth as we've been doing. The eyes sinking back deep into their sockets. Maybe you can feel as though the whole frontal brain can rest back into the back brain, and the back brain rests back into the skull. And the skull in turn rests back into the earth. Let the belly completely surrender. So you feel this sucking back, the belly back into the body, back into the spine. It can create this sort of suction feeling all the way up into the lower ribs, particularly the higher your hips are. And this creates a sort of a pulling of the blood, the energy into the heart and into the throat. Soften as much as you can through the chest, through the shoulders. And let the blood, the energy flow from the heart to the throat, and from the throat into the head. Being as open and relaxed as you can through the features of your face, and in particular through the forehead and the third eye. Have your internal gaze looking directly into the third eye area. If there's not an intensity to that gaze, we want that soft focus. The eyeballs are sitting back into the socket, so there's a softness to that gaze. And again, if you want to try and connect with, enhance your connection to and the power of Ajna, our third eye, our intuitive eye, the intuitive center, our center of perception, then this can be a lovely practice. You don't have to be upside down to do it. I forgot to suggest that if you wanted to come out and do traditional Shavasana, now would be your time. You can do that if you want a bit of Shavasana, but I'm going to finish up class, so you can remain in Shavasana if you feel that you really need that, so that's okay. But otherwise, we're going to come out. Just going to draw the knees gently in towards the body, feet coming down the wall, and to come out, we're just going to roll out to one side. And maybe it's just as easy to just come and sit. Maybe
you want to just sit up against the wall in a really relaxed manner. Maybe you're in the middle of the room. And you can just simply sit as you are. Taking a peaceful breath into the body. Just tuning in again to the features of the face. Feeling into the breath flowing like water through the body. Remembering to remind yourself to witness, to watch your thinking, the words that you speak and the actions that you take or the decisions that you make, and how they may be creating peace or disharmony in your life and in the lives of others around you. And let's bring our hands into prayer, placing them at the heart center. And once again, we complete class tonight with a mantra, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And we bring our thumb, back of thumbs to the third eye, to the lips, and then to the heart for each Shanti. So taking a deep breath in readiness, so inhaling. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May there be peace within us, peace between us, and peace surrounding us. Namaste. Thank you, everyone, for the beautiful dedication of your practice and for joining me this evening. That was the last of our series, so let me know what you would like, maybe coming in. Would you like to continue? Would you like a break? What's going on? And we'll take it from there. So I'm going to stop the recording. So thank you so much.